This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. Welcome to one of the most famous racing circuits in the world, home of legendary corners like Eau Rouge and Radillon, where the men are separated from the boys. We're at Francorchamps, the 7-kilometre racetrack in the Belgian Ardennes forests. It's the third round of the Supercar Challenge powered by Dunlop, the Benelux GT and Touring Car Championship, and it's the 13th year that the Supercar Challenge has visited Spa. As usual, all divisions start as one, meaning a grid of over 50 cars, and that leads to exciting battles and unexpected results. We'll show you Saturday's race for the Super GT, GT and GTB machinery, but first we'll take a look around the paddock. The sun was already shining bright in the morning with no clouds in sight, so the track temperature climbing over 35 degrees. Picking the right compound Dunlops would be crucial. Tyres would play a big part over the race weekend, but more about that later. Unfortunately for MDM Motorsport, they're already having to pack up before the first race. Jan Storm blew the engine of his BMW Z4 GT3 in qualifying and his weekend seems to be over. But luckily the Eurolvika Ferrari team has offered him a seat in one of their 430 GT2s. And there are even more entries here at Spa than ever, including this new BMW M3 GTR for Ruud Olli, returning again to the Supercar Challenge. The Supercar Challenge powered by Dunlop has 5 divisions, the fastest of which are the Super GT cars. They make up the sharp end of the grid. And on pole, the McLaren GT3 of Scots Jim and Glyn Geddy. Father Jim will start, but he's not the faster of the pair, so does this mean special tactics coming into play?
Not really, we just have to try and keep him as close to the pack as we can, and hopefully it should be a bit easier around here with traffic. The GT2s are obviously strong around here, straight line speed's massive, so if he can stick close to them, and hopefully we should be a few seconds quicker to be able to catch them.
One of those fast GT2s lines up second, the Eurolvika Ferrari 458 of Jan Verslijs.
Ik heb wel een strategie in mijn hoofd, die heb ik extra nodig.
Well, I do have a strategy in mind this time. I think I'm going to need it. First, we'll have to see how the race goes because you never know what's going to happen. I think it'll be very tough with a fast pace at the lead and very exciting battles. Third on the grid, Roger Graals with his Chevy Corvette C5R, but he's not too confident about his chances.
Ik heb geen ABS en dat soort
It's the age of the car. He says, I don't have ABS or any of the modern toys, and that makes it hard to drive. It's about 12 years old, so outbreaking the more modern 2012 GT2 or 3 cars is almost impossible. I do have a lot of torque. The straight line speed's amazing. So at the start, I'm going to try and pass Geddy straight away and chase Jan Verslijs and see what happens. After the break, we'll show you the GT and GTB divisions, but first let's take a look at the race for the Super GTs. The starting grid for Saturday's race is actually the same as the top 3 in the championship. Leaders are Jim and Glyn Geddy with 65 points, but remarkably they've still to win this year. Second in the championship, Jan Verslijs with 63 points, he starts second in the race, and Roger Graals is third on 56 points, he lines up third. He scored just 1/3 place in the previous races, reliability the key to his championship. Peter Hovenaard starts 5th with Henry Sumbrink's Volvo in front, Bob Herber in a Ferrari alongside, and newcomer Nick Homerson in his Ferrari lining up 7th. Well, a late entry from Peter Verslijs, he didn't have time to qualify, that means he's 27th at the back of this Super GT field. Bob Herber, like everybody else, getting ready to leap into action, jockeying for position. Beautiful conditions here at the fabulous Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Safety car is off and out of the bus stop they come, waiting for the lights to change. At the very last minute they get the go. Roger Graals right in front of us in that Corvette. And Jim Geddy already under pressure at the start. Jan Verslijs in the Ferrari trying to go around the outside of the McLaren. He gets balked on the outside. There's Henry Sumbrink, good start from him, but look at the Corvette go, up into second place already. The Volvo and Ferrari wheel to wheel as they come down into Eau Rouge. Jim Geddy leads in the McLaren, Roger Graals in second, and who's going to come out third? A massive torque of that Volvo pulls it up the hill. Silhouette Racer with its V8 engine outgunning even the factory-built Ferraris. Stunning stuff from Henry Zumbrink. Up the Kemmel Straight, Roger Grau's using all that Pratt & Miller horsepower. Ain't no substitute for cubes on the Kemmel Straight. And the power of the Corvette puts him into the lead at Les Combes. The Volvo is third. Jan Verslijs fourth. Bob Herber was right with him there under braking. Couldn't quite get through. Two Vipers there. And Barry Mason goes by Peter Hovenaars for eighth. The Ferrari, 130. That's Peter Verslijs up to 13th and in front of the GTB field already. A third of the way round the opening lap with Bob Herber. Big moment there. Now, was that contact or did you just lose it on colder tyres? The Corvette has the lead. Roger Grau's from Jim Geddy. Henry Zumbrink in third position in his Volvo. And the GTB field sweeping down the hill. On board with Jan Verslijs, fourth place. The Volvo of Henry Zumbrink right in front. And the Volvo with great torque, but here comes the Ferrari. Now he's going to lunge to the inside at Piff Paff. Has he got the line? It looks like he has. Oh, contact though. Zumbrink tries to shut the door. Oh, I'm not sure that was on at all. That corner was lost and he should have realised it. Could have caused an accident for both cars there on the opening lap of this 1 hour race. There are the Vipers, still hard at it as they battle for eighth. Now then, with Bob Herber sharing this Ferrari 458 with Martin Lanting, starting the long climb as they exit Stavelot uphill from the modern part of the circuit, joining the old part of the old public road circuit. And there goes the Volvo again, using his power, but collects the McLaren. Oh dear, Henry Zumbrink. What on earth does he think he's doing? Bits flying off the McLaren there, I think. Jim Geddy under attack now. Bob Herber right behind him, and then Nick Homerson next up in the sister Ferrari. And they are swarming all over that McLaren. On board with Bob Herber, exiting the bus stop, past the Formula 1 pit lane. Start-finish line to complete another lap. Trying to go around the outside at the hairpin at La Source. He's got a good run going on the McLaren, but the tighter inside line gives Jim Geddy the advantage. Bob Herber now tries to attack again, down past the old Formula 1 pits into the awesome Eau Rouge. Is he going up the inside? He is. And Jim Geddy rather wisely lets him go down a couple of gears and then pouring on the power as we climb the hill once more. So Bob Herber moves up and Nick Homerson in the background is looking to do the same. Here come the Vipers as well. Barry Mason, Peter Hovenaars. Well, let's take a look back at that incident with the Volvo and the McLaren. Blanchimont, the fastest part of the circuit, absolutely flat out. Jim Geddy lets Jan Verslijs through, but there's not room for the Volvo. Henry Zumbrink tries to thread the eye of the needle anyway, and bits flying off both cars. Well, the Volvo's body did well to stay on. And Jim Geddy, ooh, little bit of a wobble there. Now, is there some damage to the McLaren? Has he got a puncture or something broken? Nick Homerson goes through. And that is Barry Mason as well in the Viper. They are queuing up to get by the stricken McLaren. And that's very bad news indeed for Jim Geddy and son Glyn. Peter Hovenaars and smoke. Now, is that because he went off onto the dust, or is that the engine smoking? Well, whatever. Things are not going well for Jim Geddy. Roger Grau's our leader from Jan Verslijs, and Henry Zumbrink still in one piece, it would seem. Bob Herber in fourth from Nick Homerson, his teammate. Barry Mason, then the McLaren of Jim Geddy. Peter Hovenaars, Peter Verslijs queuing up behind. On board with Jan Verslijs. There is your leader, Roger Grau's. Coming up to the bus stop chicane at the end of the lap. The Ferrari down the inside. Ooh, and he just gets that braking done in time. Hear the massive grumble of the Corvette. Roger Grau's told us he can't outbrake these modern cars with their ABS. But what he has got is horsepower in spades. And up the hill, up that long Kemmel Straight, and again from Stavelot to the bus stop, he's got the advantage. But if he can't get it stopped there, he's never going to be in front at the flag. And another car with plenty of torque, the V8 engine in that blue Volvo. Henry Zumbrink, let's see if he can make a pass here without hitting somebody, because so far he's not got a good record. Meanwhile, right behind is Bob Herber and his walls at 6s and 7s in Eau Rouge. Oh, changed his mind. That is a very big spin. Well, he was saying something about the engine there on the radio. left rear puncture. He's got a long way to go. He's only just gone past the pits. Well, Bob Herbert talks us through the incident. Henry Zumbrink passed the McLaren, he says, right in front of me. A big bit came off the McLaren, I think, all carbon fibre. It went on the bumper, then under the car and damaged the rear tyre. I didn't know immediately. I was able to carry for a couple of laps. Then going into Eau Rouge, it just exploded. I ended up spinning at 240 kilometres an hour right towards the tyre wall. Luckily, it's uphill. I managed to slow down just enough to not hit anything. That was the only lucky thing, he says, and he's right. The Martini Rosso team working with AF Corsa to get the car ready for the next race. The 2009 spec Ferrari 430 GT2 is a real handful for Jan Storm, used to his front-engine BMW Z4 GT3. He's got the brake balance all wrong, flat spots the tyres with that spin, and he'll have to retire. Better news for Peter Verslijs though, here taking 7th place from Peter Hovenaar's Viper at the bus stop. Late entry, didn't qualify, so started right at the tail of the class. Now he's climbing his way back up the order. Jim Geddy still going in the battle-scarred McLaren, 6th place. Barry Mason's Viper in front. And can he get by? Not at Les Combes, it would seem. The McLaren with that left front damage may be causing more problems than we know. Well, tyre temperatures are also going to be vital here. All these long, fast corners and the high temperatures puts it up the inside of Barry Mason for 5th place. Reclaims one of the positions he's lost. Peter Hovenaars tries to catch up. That's Peter Verslijs in front. He's jumped the Viper. Now he's having a look at the other Viper of Barry Mason. Going down into Pouhon. Long downhill double left-hander, through goes the Ferrari. The big front-engine Viper struggling with front-end grip, you suspect, in that downhill left-hander. And oh dear, contact there between the two Viper drivers as they go into Pif Paf, Fania as it's known. Look from the outside, just about room for both of them to survive, but not without a brush. Hovenaar's determined to try again now. Let's see if he can get a run down the inside into La Source. Park it on the apex. Job done. Drift out wide to the exit curbs. That is a classic Spa pass. Well, as they dice over 7th place, they are being left behind by the other front runners. They need to work together now to try and catch the cars in front. They'll go faster as 2 than they will as 1. On board once more with Roger Graals in 2nd place. Jan Verslijs goes off. Now has he overdone it on the tyres? The Ferrari in the way. The Corvette can't get a good run going, but he might try. From Marmedy down into Beau Rivage. Have to go around the outside. This 180-degree right-hander drops down the hill. And through the unnamed corner 11, the left-hander as they sweep fast now down towards Pouhon. And you can see Henry Zumbrink is right behind as well. So with his result seconds, will Jan Verslijs hold on to the lead after the pit stops? Will his tyres hold up? We'll find out and show you the race in GT and GTB after this. This program is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. It's round 3 of the Supercar Challenge powered by Dunlop at Spa-Francorchamps with 50 cars on the starting grid. Jan Verslijs dropped back early on from 2nd to 4th in his Ferrari as the Corvette of Roger Graals grabbed the lead from the McLaren of Jim Geddy. Then Verslijs started his recovery, taking 3rd from Henry Zumbrink's Volvo. After a collision with Zumbrink, Jim Geddy dropped down to 7th place. But Jan Verslijs took the lead in the Ferrari, and that's where we are now, heading towards the mandatory pit stops. Well, after a dry and sunny start, the clouds are gathering overhead as the pit stops arrive between minutes 25 and 35. Jan Verslijs, the leader, comes in his Ferrari. He has 30 result seconds extra to take due to his 2 wins last time out at the Slovakia ring. That makes for a very long pit stop. With no result seconds, Roger Graals retakes the lead in his Corvette. 15 result seconds for the Geddes and their McLaren, run by United Autosports. Their tactic of staying close to the leading pack hasn't worked. Their 15-second advantage over Jan Verslijs in the pit lane then will be very much needed. And Roger Graals, though, looks to have had the best out of his tyres, a second and a half slower a lap than he was before. As the fuel goes into the McLaren, United Autosports team have done their job. Now it's up to Glyn Geddy as he heads out of the pit lane. Well, their pit stop went okay, but it was disastrous for Jan Verslijs. He's handed a drive-through penalty. His pit stop was too short. That drops him right down the order. In the closing stages, the biggest rivals meet each other on track. Glyn Geddy and Jan Verslijs, the only ones in the 2-minute 22s. Verslijs has been using tricks picked up from Ferrari test driver Jimmy Bruni, setting up the brake balance with more to the front in the fast corners to brake deep into the corner and keep up the speed, and then more rear balance for the slower turns to settle the rear of the car, and it seems to be working. In the high-speed corners, the McLaren is no match for the Ferrari, despite better torque from its engine. Now, with all of this battling for second place, Roger Graals' tyre woes are not causing him quite as many problems. He remains in the lead. We saw Jan Verslijs in trouble perhaps with tyres before the pit stops, and it seems as though he is struggling still. Jim Geddy is going to have to be wary of that wildly swaying rear end. The Ferrari looks to have used up all its Dunlop rubber, and the McLaren drives around the outside, exiting the bus stop and heading down towards the hairpin at La Source. As the Ferrari drifts wide, Geddy looks to the inside, and the young Scot moves up into second place. The battle rages on. Verslijs does not want to give this one up. Right with the McLaren, contact there as they get behind one of the Seats, and through they both go safely. Seat driver moving offline as they pass Bob Herber's abandoned Ferrari. Well, Jan Verslijs, despite all of his work on the brake balance, just has run out of tyres, and out of piff-paff, he clatters it off the barriers. Well, he manages to keep it going and will finish in front of Nick Homerson. He's on the podium as Roger Graals in the Corvette takes victory. 9 seconds ahead of Glyn Geddy at the line, the McLaren in second. Jan Verslijs defending third from Nick Homerson with everything he's got at the last corner. Final sort out in the bus stop, and Homerson can't get the podium spot he wanted. Well, confirmation against his expectations. Roger Graals claims his first win of the season ahead of the Geddes and the McLaren. Jan Verslijs on the podium in third. A delighted Roger Graals, our race winner. He said, a superb result, so happy. The team did a great job on the car. They worked all Thursday night to get it ready. No sleep for them. It was amazing, and I had a great race. In the GT division, Jan van der Kooi took the lead from Pole sitter Van Lumbeck in the Dodge Viper GTSR GT1, followed by Frenchman Pierre-Etienne Bourdais. Bourdais slowly gaining on Jan van der Kooi in his Lotus Exige, and this ended up being the battle for the lead, decided in the hairpin at La Source, where the Lotus's 4-cylinder not quite enough of a match for the V8 and the Volvo V60 Silhouette. Pierre-Etienne Bourdais coming into the pits as the GT leader due to his win in the last race at Slovakia. He had 15 seconds longer stationary than Jan van der Kooi, who retook the lead. He's a Lotus dealer from Amsterdam, works on the car every free hour he has, but bad luck seems to be stalking him. Is this going to be his first win of the year? The car's good, the driver's good, the crew's good, but suddenly worried faces. Jan's been on the radio, a red light is on the dashboard, and he's been swerving from side to side on the track. It's the classic run out of fuel sign. Pierre-Etienne Bourdais has an easy pass to retake the lead on the final lap. The team reckon it's 2 litres short. Jan van der Kooi stumbling towards the finish line in second place. So Pierre-Etienne Bourdais claims victory in the GT division for the first time this season. Jan van der Kooi in second, Steve van Bellingen-Ward Slice in third spot. A very happy Bourdais.
Ja, we hebben de finish gehaald.
And Van der Kooi as well. We made it to finish. We were second as well. Could have been first, so that's a shame, but we're using more fuel than we should. A few corners from the end, the engine stuttered. I made it on fumes. Cost me the win, but at least I got a second. That's a good place to start for the remainder of the season. In the GTB division, Rennie Wijnen and Charlie Freins took pole position, and they need to score some points because they skipped round 2 in Slovakia. They've got 1 point for pole, but they could really do with winning the race. And it all starts fairly well for them. A lap in, they're leading from Werner van Herk's Mazda 3 and newcomer Marcel van Berlo in his Porsche GT3. But there's worried faces on the team and Charlie Freins. And they see René sliding down amongst the Supersport leaders and then colliding with Rudy Lemons in the KTM Crossbow before he drops out with a broken transmission. Start was very good, says Rennie. We're a bit quicker than the guys behind. I had a gap of 3 or 4 car lengths. Things were looking good. Able to run the race at my own pace. Then suddenly the transmission started playing up and I was dropping back. Somewhere around Rivage. Nothing I could do. Tried to get back to the pit lane very slowly. Perhaps the team could fix the car, but I didn't make it. Had to park it at the bus stop and do the walk of shame to the pit lane. Not the best way to get the lead back in the championship. We needed these points, and that's not helping. Mark Neyens held the lead in the blue and white Porsche, going to the pit stops. Marcel van Berlo second, Werner van Herk third in the Mazda, ahead of Dan Meyer's Porsche, and another Porsche for Gerard de Jong. De Jong moved up from 7th to 5th in class, putting the pressure on Dan Meyer. And it pays off at Malmedy as Meyer runs wide. Hits the gravel hard and ends up with a puncture. While the Lamertink team working hard to replace that tyre, he will end up 4th in class. That could have gone a lot worse for them. Well, after everybody's mandatory pit stops, it's newcomer Marcel van Berlo who finds himself in the GTB class lead because the massive result seconds penalties for Patrick Lamster, Mark Neyens. This is the battle for second then. Werner van Herk, he's just got by Gerard de Jong, but the Mazda driver won't have it all his own way. De Jong in the Porsche continues the battle as they climb the hill, racing towards Blanchimont. And he goes the long way round the outside to take away that second spot from the Mazda. So third place in the end for the Mazda driver Werner van Herk. Gerard de Jong in second, but first time entrant is first time winner Marcel van Berlo. Surprised and delighted, I think, in equal measure. Totally beyond our expectations, he said. It was excellent today. Yesterday we had some remarkable results. Things are looking good for the season and I'm very happy. Well, I should think so too. Coming up next, Saturday's encounter for the Supersport and Sport divisions as we go on board to enjoy the racing up close and personal at Spa. This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. Hello, welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps, the ultimate driver's circuit in the Belgian Ardennes. We're here for the third round of the Supercar Challenge powered by Dunlop, the Benelux GT and Touring Car Championship. Last time out, we showed you all the action in the GT divisions, Super GT, GT and GTB. It turned out to be a spectacular race with action throughout the field, with 50 cars starting on one grid, including Super Sport and Sport divisions, and we'll catch up with them now. Well, first, let's see who took the Super Sport pole. Maybe not a car you might think of first, the little Lotus 211 GT4. Normally, the Lotus's 4-cylinder turbo is no match for the 3.2-litre sixes of the BMWs, but Luc de Kock shows you don't need just straight-line speed, it's about the handling. But will that hold up in a 1-hour race around Spa-Francorchamps?
Wait and see. Zoals dit. Kan altijd heel veel.
Well, anything can happen, of course, he said. With the combined classes, it's a massive field. So we'll try and survive the first lap, and then we'll go flat out. We'll take a look at Sport Class in a few minutes, but as they come round on the warm-up, let's take a look at the Super Sport division. Luc de Kock in his little Lotus 211. Beside him, easily identifiable with the pink highlights, the BMW M3 GTR. That's Peter van Solen with Koen Burkhardt. More BMWs behind. Bas Carlton in his 1 Series. We're getting ready for the start. Robin and Ferry Monster haven't had a great qualifying. We're on board with them now, just before the start, heading up to the bus stop. Looking back, Frank Myers 7th in a BMW, and the Seca Rapex of Wim Mulders, that's in 8th position. So here we go then, rolling start as ever, and through the bus stop. The GTs have already started, so it's green, green, green for the whole field. Well, Ferry Monster not known for his good starts, but this looks like a cracker. He's already by the fellow Seat driver, Jimmy Adriansens. They head down into La Source. There is Ferry in front of us. He's already up to 4th from 6th on the grid. There's the Lotus, BMW on the outside. Also running wide on the outside, the Seca of Wim Mulders, but he has made his way up to, I think, 5th place now. Down into Eau Rouge for the first place with Bas Carlton, and he's right behind the Lotus. Now let's see if his torque and power will drag him up the hill. The Lotus is in the slipstream, but right around the outside goes Peter van Solen. Sequential gear shift, you can see the manual lever changing up as they go through the gears. This long slipstreaming climb all the way up to Les Combes. BMWs are on the inside. Can the Lotus fight back? On board with Luc de Kock, lead change. And the BMW of Peter van Solen, he share that with Koen Burkhardt, who'll take it over later. But the BMW has had the best bit now of the run. And down into the valley they'll start to go with Bas Carlton dropping down the hill now, the long double left-hander up Pouan. And see the BMW using its speed. The nimble Lotus will have to use its handling in the tighter positions. Carlton down to the inside as they come to Pif Paf. But look at that, the Lotus drives right around them. GTB class Porsche right in front. And that blocks the BMW. Can the Lotus get through? The next is a right-hander. Well, this is the nameless corner before Stavelot, the lowest part of this circuit. And the BMWs now will use their massive power to drive away from the Lotus. Luc de Kock over the rumble strips. Through goes Ferry Monster. He's up to 3rd, de Kock down to 4th. Battle for the lead once more, heading down into Pouan. Peter van Solen in front of us, who ride with Bas Carlton. That's René Weinen's Porsche in front, chasing the KTM Crossbow, Rudy Lemons, drifting out around the outside, but he keeps the power on, Bas Carlton. He's got the lead. Oh, there's contact in front. The Porsche into the back of the Crossbow. Well, the Crossbow was a super sport car, upgraded to GTB in Slovakia, but it can't keep up the pace here with its 1.8 turbo engine. Bas Carlton searching for the grip here, really working the wheel hard, but he's through and clear of the traffic. And look, right behind, through comes Peter van Solen. Ferry Monster will be next to try and take up the challenge. But this is not going to be a good race for the Monster brothers. They are in the pits and in trouble. Their championship lead has gone.
Ja, de start ging eigenlijk super. Ik zat voor mij reed gelijk op een 4e plaats.
Start was great, said Ferry. I got 4th right away and then up to 3rd on the first lap. Some good fights going on, but the left front tyre went flat. Must have picked up something on the track. There was Kevlar and carbon fibre everywhere. So we had a puncture, and of course extra pit stops don't do much for your race. There's no way we can make up for that lost time, not here. Frustration 2 for Luc de Kock. His tyre temperatures are right, the pressures are right now. He's right behind Bas Carlton. Look how he sweeps through Eau Rouge, carrying so much speed, catching the BMW. Perfect setup courtesy of some work by ex-Renault driver Jérôme D'Ambrosio earlier in the year at Spa. But as he pulls out, He's just got not enough power. Look, banging his fist on the steering wheel in frustration.
Ik ging iets sneller naar boven op Eau Rouge.
I was quicker going up through Eau Rouge. I got very close to the BMW, picked up a slipstream, thought I'd get by him, but he's got a much higher top end speed, so I lost ground on him before I could even overtake. So frustrating. I knew I couldn't get by even with a slipstream. Very annoying. But luck is on his side. After dropping out of the race in Slovakia, he's got no result second, so after the pit stops he finds himself in the lead, and it's a lead he can hold to the checkered flag. Luc de Kock claims victory in the Lotus from Kumbo Karts and Peter van Solen, and Jimmy Adriansens makes it up onto the podium for the first time this season. Great result for the Seat driver.
Ja, dat was fantastisch geworden.
Fantastic result, says Luc de Kock. Very hectic at the start of the race, so I kept an eye out for incidents and crazy moves. I knew I had no result second, so I had to stay close to the front runners and not do anything stupid. So once you're underway, I managed to build up my pace. Everything worked out well. Triple One team has done an amazing job to set up this car. In the sport division, one man dominated, Art Bosman with his Lotus Exige Cup.
We hadden zelf er niet echt op gerekend.
Well, we didn't even think about taking pole here. We just haven't got the power for the straights. But here we are. So we'll start at the front with brand new tyres. I think we can keep the lead in the race as long as everyone keeps their cool. Turning into a very successful season so far. 3 wins and another pole. So that's number 3 as well. Everything's going great. Well, he's not wrong. He's the championship leader as well. Things not going so swimmingly for the BMW 1 Series in front of us here. Flat out through Blanchimont, huge tank slapper. And Moritz Carranza slams heavily into the tyre wall. Well, he gets out uninjured, but that's more than you can say for the car. Team are going to have a huge job on their hands to get it out for race 2. I was pushing hard, he said, just lost the rear, tried to correct it, but it went the other way. I was just a passenger, I'm afraid. Real shame, car's badly damaged, so we'll have to see what the team can do. And a hug for brother Wesley, who's getting very little mileage. They had to fit a new engine on Friday as well. In the sport division, gas, it says on the Verhagen Racing pitboard, the green Honda S2000 taking the lead after Art Bosman's success penalties drop him down in the pit stops. The Van der Kooi Lotus team keeping a close eye on the leaders. Art Bosman is gaining on them fast. Pitbull already out of date. Bosman now right on the tail of Michael Verhagen in the last couple of laps. Epic battle ensuing. Little Lotus and the Honda Ferrari right behind, getting very out of shape as it tries to get by the smaller cars with their superb handling. And that's not enough to interrupt the battle. Art Bosman charging down the hill towards Pouon, keeps the battle going all the way to the line as he sneaks back in front. Well, Bosman takes win number 4 out of 5 starts. Good news too for Michael Verhagen. It seems he's left his technical problems behind at the Slovakia ring. He takes second. Ruud Steenmetz and Stoffel Polderman take third. The best the Renault Clio's.
Ja, we starten goed. Dus de derde positie. Kon dat na de pitstop vasthouden.
Beginning of the race was pretty good, says Michael. I started third and managed to hang on. After the pit stops, I took over the lead because I had no result seconds. Had 15 seconds over Art, but that lived a little short. The front tyres were gone. I thought I'd be able to keep up a good pace, but unfortunately, on the penultimate lap, I lost the lead to Art Bosman. But second's not so bad, so I'm pretty happy. Even in summer, a hot day is a rare thing at Spa-Francorchamps, and after a sunny Saturday, rain starts to develop, and soon it's mayhem. Parts of the track are flooded, lots of standing water, and that'll make it mission impossible for the big GT cars with their massive tyres. It also means zero visibility with a huge amount of spray thrown up from their huge diffusers. A nightmare if you're stuck behind a rival, but it gets even worse if your own windscreen starts to act against you, like Henry Zumbrink. He's having to stop to clear the screen. Decided he better call it a day. Dancing away in the rain though, Jan Verslijs. He could see where he was going and he cleared off in the lead. The battle for second all came rather unstuck at the hairpin. Martin Lanting, Peter Hovenaars. Hovenaars missing his braking point, collecting the Ferrari. Martin Lanting continued, but it looks like it was all over for the 18-year-old Peter Hovenaars. Broken suspension forcing them out.
Ja, ik was snelst op de baan, dus dat was heel goed.
I was fastest in the race, it was looking good, but I make a mistake braking for La Source. I thought I could make it cleanly, but I hit the Ferrari, so we broke the suspension. My race is over. Shame, because we were quick in the race. With only 5 result seconds, it was Nick Homerson's Ferrari that took the lead after the pit stops, and he turned in a performance worthy of a Spa Rainmeister. Nobody got close to him as he claimed the first win for the Martino Rosso racing team. Roger Graal's second in the thundering Corvette, Jim and Glyn-Geddy third in their McLaren. But how on earth did the Corvette even make it round? A great job by Roger Graals.
Het weer kon natuurlijk niet slechter, maar...
Must be the worst weather you can have at Spa, he said, but the car was really great in the rain. The handling was perfect. I was able to stay in front, and that's the most important thing. I had fun. Well, because Nick Homerson's not a championship regular, maximum points went to Roger Graals again, and he's closing on the Geddys at the top now in front of Jan Versluis. In the GT division, Jan van der Kooi dominated from the start, the nimble Lotus proving to be perfect in the conditions. He finished an amazing 9th overall. Aaron Scott put the Viper in second place, despite the fastest lap time in their class, 4 seconds faster than Jan van der Kooi. He was still 38 seconds adrift at the end. Still not too bad. But Van der Kooi was revelling in it. He said, yesterday I thought I could win it today. I managed to. It's my kind of weather. At the beginning of the race I opened up a good gap to the others. Managed to take 4th or 5th overall. After the pit stops I was 45 seconds ahead, so I could take it easy and finish the race without any problems. And the championship order remains the same. Wim Lundbeck in front in the Viper. Craig Wilkins, Aaron Scott now in 4th. In GTB, it was a close battle between the light and nimble rotary engine Mazda 3 and the Porsche GT3 Cup with its rear engine flat 6 and great traction. It was all decided at the bus stop. Vynen trying to outbrake the Mazda, door slammed in his face and he would drop out with a broken water pump. A second DNF for Vynen and Frains, while Werner van Herk takes his first win of the season. Patrick Lemster Mark 9's in second, Gerard de Jong in third. And that changes the championship as well. Werner van Herk moves up 2 places to second in the points. Frains and Vynen drop 2 places down to 4th. But it's still Patrick Lemster and Ron Marshall who lead it in their Porsche. In the rain, it's not about power, it's about handling. The Seat here driving rings around the BMW on the soaking wet Spa. The battle for first place on between Jimmy Andriansens and arch-rival Robin Monster in their 2 Seat Leons. In the closing stages, Robin Monster puts a wet-line pass around the outside of Stavolo to take victory. Luc de Kock takes second place on the final lap, his Lotus resembling nothing so much as a bathtub on wheels. Well, after dropping out of the top 8 on Saturday with that puncture and losing their championship lead, this is a vital win for the Monster brothers. Luc de Kock taking second, keeping himself firmly in contention. Jimmy Adriansens in third, but this was needed for Robin and Ferry.
Ja, het was wel zeker hard werken.
Definitely not a cakewalk, says Robin. It was really hard work. It's still raining now, keeps falling and falling. The team did a great job setting up the car. It was amazing to drive. I got by Luc de Kock and Jimmy for the lead. Car was really great. Successful trip to Spa for Luc de Kock. He moves up 2 to the lead of the standings. The brothers drop to second with Van Serlen and Bocards. In the sports division, Michael Verhagen got his revenge after losing the win in the last couple of laps of Saturday's race, finishing 28th overall and claiming his first victory of the season in fairly shocking conditions. Ruud Steenmet, Stefan Polderman again on the podium, second this time in their Renault, and good to see that Wesley and Moritz Carranza's repaired BMW also finished well. So changes in the championship order as well. Rob Neiman moves up 1 place to second in the standings. Michael Verhagen makes his first appearance in the top order in third. Van der Munkhoff dropping down to 5th after a horrible weekend. In the next part of the show, we'll take a look at the massive engine power in the Supercar Challenge, and specifically this 750 horsepower Nissan GT-R pace car. We'll take an exclusive look behind the scenes. This program is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. Welcome to the Benelux GT and Touring Car Championship, the Supercar Challenge powered by Dunlop. Legendary marques like Ferrari, Porsche, Corvette, McLaren, Lotus and many more take each other on in 8 challenging rounds. And within the regulations, each team is allowed to push the limits by increasing engine power to outdo their rivals. But there's one car that really stands out. Don't be misled by the looks of this blue meanie, because this Nissan GT-R has 750 brake horsepower and can easily keep up with the GT cars in the Supercar Challenge. This very special collaboration has been made possible by the Australian company PPG Fitzner and renowned Dutch tuner Total Car Concept. We took a look behind the scenes at their headquarters to find out more.
Ik ben Ries Landsraad, eigenaar van Total Car Concept. Ik run dit bedrijf samen met mijn compagnon Robert-Jan.
This is Richard Lansart, the owner of Total Car Concept, together with business partner Robert-Jan Wilteman. We've been successfully running this company for 15 years. I was asked to join about 4 years ago. He wanted to expand the business and I was lucky to become a part of it. He started the company around 95. Step by step it's grown. It all started as a hobby. Now it has clients throughout Europe and builds the most beautiful cars. Total Car Concept's well known in the tuning world, especially because of this very special time attack Nissan Skyline.
Dat is eigenlijk een demowagen van Total Car Concept om een beetje te promoten en onze neus laten zien op het circuit.
Well, that's the Total Car Concept demo car. We use it to promote the company, show our faces at the racetrack. Skyline's used in official time attack races. We're doing very well. We compete in the extreme class, the most competitive and demanding division of time attack. Normally we do well, and usually we end up in first position. Customers come to Total Car Concept from all parts of Europe to have their GTRs tuned, and now they've worked on the Supercar Challenge pace car. But how did this collaboration first kick off? The Supercar Challenge pace car was at the only Nissan dealer in the Netherlands that's able to work on the GTRs. It had a broken gearbox. They tried to fix the problem, but it was way above them. They simply couldn't get the job done. But on the other hand, we've got years of experience with the Nissan GTR box. We're well aware of that particular problem, so we're going to revise the gearbox and get it back on the road.
Sinds het begin van de GTR, sinds die in Nederland is, hebben we eigenlijk de auto beetgepakt en
Since the GTR was launched and first sold in the Netherlands, we've been very interested and have spent months getting to know every tiny detail. We've worked on getting exclusive dealer contracts. We managed to get exclusive rights on PPG Fitzner parts. We know the gearbox inside out. I think we can safely say we've already taken care of any problem you can think of. One of the strong points of Total Car Concept is we know the car better than Nissan dealers themselves. So far we've tuned around 50 GTRs with various kits from 600 to 800 and even 1,000 horsepower. And of every single GTR we've delivered, not one has come back with problems. They're all still up and running with no issues. The development in car technology is an ongoing business, and it's the same in the tuning world. Everything gets more complex, especially with the state-of-the-art Nissan GT-R. It requires a lot of knowledge to get to know this car. So where did it all start for Total Car Concept? Of course, it all started as a hobby. We both started analysing bits and pieces on our own cars, fixing them, modifying them. And the same with our first motorbikes. It all goes back to those good old days. Love of technology has always been there. The more complex, the more interesting it is for us. We really want to find out what every single part does, how it works, and make sure it does its job even better. Well, the Nissan GT-R pace car accelerates from 0 to 200 kilometers an hour in under 10 seconds. That's very quick, but nothing special for tuners. What makes it so special is that it's almost indestructible thanks to the use of PPG Fitzner parts. Total Car Concept upgrades the engine, gearbox, differential and other parts to make sure it can take the wear and tear of the massive 750 horsepower. Richard explains exactly what they have done on this awesome Nissan GT-R. Well, here we've got the Nissan GT-R gearbox of the Supercar Challenge pace car, so we'll take a look at it, see what it looks like.
De Nissan GT-R die is ontiegelijk snel van 0 naar 100.
Nissan GT-R is extremely fast from 0 to 100, partly because of the GT-R's special launch control. Using this, you can really stress the first gear, and sometimes it can break. Well, that sometimes happens with more engine power, but we improve the gearbox using a PPG Fitzner replacement, much stronger, and it can carry much more load than the original gear.
Hier zie je het gedeelte van de versnellingsbak van de GT-R waar de oliepomp.
Well, this part of the gearbox is where the oil pump and clutch are located. We've upgraded the clutch. It's got more friction plates, better friction plates, and that enables it to take more power. We've adjusted the oil pump as well, so it'll deliver more pressure, and that gives better grip on the friction plates. Well, to accelerate quickly, a lot of horsepower is usually required as well, but equally important is proper gear shifting.
Wat ik hier heb is de schakelmodule.
And what you see here is the GT-R's shift module. It's a computer-driven module that engages the gears when they're asked for.
De behuizing van de GT-R.
We've also improved the gearbox housing itself. This original panel made from steel, and we've replaced it with a much stronger reinforced aluminium one. Much stronger, improves the overall strength of the gearbox as well. And here's the source of all that horsepower. The standard 3.8 litre V6 in the Nissan GT-R delivers 480 horsepower, and the car rushes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in under 3.5 seconds. Tuned by Total Car Concept, the Supercar Challenge pace car now goes from 0 to 100 in under 2.5 seconds and from 0 to 200 in under 10. And this without rebuilding the original engine.
De GT-R-motor is een ontiegelijk sterke motor.
Well, the GT-R engine is well built and extremely strong. With just a few minor adjustments, it can take up to 800 horsepower with no problems. If you really want to push the envelope and go beyond 800, you'll need to rebuild it. The engine will then put out a whopping 1,000 horsepower. So we've installed better conrods, pistons, bearings, valve springs, camshafts, crankshafts, and so much more. While the internals completely improved to handle the enormous power, and let's not forget those enormous turbos.
De Nissan GT-R heeft een 6-cilinder twin-turbo motor. De originele turbo's van de motor die kunnen we...
The original Nissan GT-R has a 6-cylinder twin-turbo engine. We use the original turbos for up to 630 horsepower. That's what you see here, the original turbo. If you want something around 800 horsepower, we have to change it with new internals, and that basically means we make it bigger inside so it generates more power. But if you want to go beyond 800, then we have to use even bigger turbos. They can take you up to 900, 950 horse. And if that's not enough, you want extreme results, you use these, the Switzer Aeron Ks. These turbos deliver around 1,000 horsepower on normal 98 octane fuel. And with ethanol, it's an even more impressive 1,400 horsepower.
Omdat wij dus Zwitser dealer zijn en wij als enigste in Europa het recht om de spullen te verkopen van Zwitser.
Because we're a Switzer dealer, we've got exclusive rights across Europe to sell and install their components. So we get clients coming from across Europe for these special kits. We've got guys coming from Switzerland, Germany, France, Belgium, and even Russia. At Total Car Concept, we work hard on delivering good service and reliable products, and it's paid off. We've got a great reputation, customers keep coming back. We're very proud of that, and hopefully it'll be the strong point of Total Car Concept. Well, keeping up this level of reliability is guaranteed by the use of PPG Fitzner components, but what makes them so good?
We have many years of manufacturing experience, and we have our heat treatment is world renowned for getting the best from the material, so we benefit from this, and this makes our products very strong and durable, and we have the name bulletproof gear sets, and we try to live to that expectation.
As of this year, PPG Fitzner is also active in the Supercar Challenge. By doing this, they've expanded their market from the tuning world to include the world of racing too. But what do they have in mind?
We offer a product that can utilize standard gear sets, so much as you don't have to buy a complete gearbox for the application. Such as Lamborghini, you can utilize the original case, and we can make all the gears and the shafts inside the gearbox, and this allows you to maintain your clutch system, your drive shafts and everything else, but it can give you many benefits because of the cost, and The durability you get with our product is profoundly different to other brands.
Well, that's it for now. We bid goodbye to the Supercar Challenge, but we'll be back next time with the 4th round of the championship from Zolder in Belgium. And it'll be a thriller as the Superstars GT Sprint Series will join the grid for a one-off challenge. Until then, thanks for watching and goodbye. This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner.